And they kept it fast the whole day, and they still had the firepower to execute a pretty banging lead.
Oh boy!
Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. With me, my buddy Sam. Welcome, Sam.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Team Mike's Bikes, sprinter extraordinaire, also known as Thunder Thighs. We're talking about nationals today. I'm excited, man.
Oh, this was a doozy, and I'm excited to be here. I think I've told you, huge fan. So a little intimidated right now, but
NorCal Studios is an intimidating place.
There's just gold everywhere. It's amazing.
So we have a criterium to talk about, and this was a toughie. This is nationals, so I usually set these up by talking about who was here, and everybody was here because everyone wants to win a national championship.
Everybody comes out, rolling the dice. They're going for the win, and but there was some notable teams and some characters to watch for sure.
Yeah, you had the El Bros.
Yeah, imminent threat out of Texas always, and nice people, honestly.
Yeah, Tully. Tully was there. He's a great sprinter. You had Ride Bikes Bros, and then I think probably the biggest threat was Best Buddies.
Oh, for sure. You know, we're all watching back home. Them duke it out with Legion, and we know how fast they are, but we don't really know them. And we've spent some time racing Legion, but Best Buddies, a little bit of unknown other than they're gonna be fast.
It's a weird thing. A quick aside with, this is amateur nationals, but it is chock full of professionals who are like McCabe is a former professional racer and a former professional national champion. So this is a very difficult race.
Yeah, there's just no two ways to slice it. And when we showed up, we had to bring our A+ game, and it's just hitters everywhere.
Yeah, and let's talk about the course real fast. So coming into this thing, this is in Florida, by the way, so there is some heat and humidity going on, which I am not used to.
Big factor, actually. In a lot of ways, it becomes a big part of the race, even down your nutrition, your hydration, but even for me, gloves. I had to wear gloves. I don't normally wear gloves, but I felt like my hands were going to slide off the bars.
Everything's wet.
Everything's wet. You're always wet.
So the day before, we were lucky in the road race in that it started at 7 a.m., so the heat wasn't really a factor until kind of the end of the race.
Correct.
But this was like mid-afternoon, this was like 4 p.m. or something. It was really hot, and we kind of slept on the nature of the crit course, because if you guys look at the map, you might be thinking what we were thinking. It's like, oh, no big deal. This looks like a pretty standard crit. But you get out there, and it's like there's narrow roads, and there's a little chicaney thing that really squeezes the peloton into single file. And then all the while, you had Best Buddies on the front just cranking out 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, I would say we thought the course was a little more pedestrian than it really was, and the narrowness and the ground, the pavement not being as even and smooth as you might think, and at these paces and with everybody trying to win, the course became a much larger factor than we originally anticipated. So it was an X factor for sure.
And I fell victim to that. So the way we're going to present this is we're going to talk about kind of two perspectives: what to do. Thank you for being here, Sam.
You're welcome.
And what not to do. That will be my perspective, because Sam and I rode completely different races in here, and I want to give you guys some tips on how to tackle a course like this with a strong field like this. So let's dive into it.
Great.
Okay, so here we are, about 3/4 of the way through the race, and I have been struggling for about the last 40 minutes up to this point. We are most of the way through this race. And I want you guys to take a lap with me. Sam, I want you in the audience to take a lap with me, and I want you to find out the wrong way to do it.
We're in the front row for the wrong way to do this. Let's see it, Jeff.
So already you can tell that I am back here like 60th wheel doing 900 watts out of this corner just to hold the wheel. This isn't passing anybody. This is just to hold the wheel. Behind Miles here, and we are desperately trying to move up. We call this the washing machine back here because everyone is bumping and barging, and it's like 3 riders wide, and everyone wants to get up towards the front because that's where Best Buddies is. Best Buddies has their entire squad on the front. They basically legioned this race. You can see I was telling Miles there, like, hey bro, time to move up. Let's do this. But all of these corners, I'm either coasting or doing 800 watts or 1,000 watts. It's like basically what I tell you guys what you're not supposed to be doing.
It gets real tiring, and again, like we talked about, narrow, hot, humidity, and then you go barging into a corner. You're watching out for all these people, and then boom, there you go. There's 1,000.
There's 1,000.
There's a 1K effort.
So I did a bunch of 0, coasting, and then 1,000. And it wasn't even enough. Look at this. Now I'm out of the draft, out in the wind.
You want to be right up on that guy's tuchus, and you're back here eating wind, and you've been doing this for 40 minutes, so you got to be tired.
And I know that it's the wrong thing, and I know that I should be moving up, because the right way to do it is, instead of doing 0, 0, 0, 0, 1,000, you want to be doing like 300, 300, 300, 400, 300, 300. Like, you want to smooth that effort out, because I've talked about this a million times on the channel. Consistency is efficiency. So you can see Miles and I are just back here, and we're really struggling. So this is what the course looks like. This is the finish, where I had dreams of doing 1,000 watts in the final 200 meters, not every single lap. So maybe we'll fast forward a little bit, and I want you guys, I want you, Sam, to take us through, and I want to see the right way to do it.
Well, I hope we can find one right way to do it in here.
All right, and meanwhile, this is about the same time in the race. We have Sam up 40, 50 riders ahead of me, following a couple of teammates right at the pointy end of the race. Tell us what's going on, Sam.
Yeah, this is where we wanted to be. In the back is tough. You're getting churned, washing machined, and what we wanted to do was to challenge best buddies here. They'd been on the front doing kind of the Legion train thing, but when we get to the front here, we got our two teammates helping us out, keeping things smooth, and now we get to ride our lines, our pace, and try to control what's happening up here.
And you can exactly, and you can tell. I can tell by looking at your power immediately that this is the benefit of being up here. Is like, I see you doing a lot of like 200 to 300 watts, which I feel like I was doing either 0 or 1,000. Oh, and here's McCabe on your left. This is a former winner of the Pro Nat Crit, so it just goes to show the caliber of this field. But now you guys are right up at the business end of this race, and you know, I just had a thought. Like, I haven't looked at the data to this level yet, but what I want to do is look at your intensity factor versus mine, because the intensity factor is a good indicator of how consistent your effort is. So it is your average power divided by your normalized power. I would
venture a guess
that your intensity factor is going to be much lower than mine, because you were in the correct position where you should have been.
Yeah, this is where having teammates that know what they're doing and can keep things consistent. I mean, Roman was just my spirit animal throughout this entire race, helping me keep very consistent. And, you know, when you're looking at Jeff's footage, there's people everywhere. But for me, I'm only having to worry about a few people at a time. So it makes a big difference.
I wanted so badly to be up here playing with you guys, and I was just trying so hard. But yeah, it just wasn't my day. So happy you were up there, Sam, and let's see how that plays out for you in the last couple laps.
Yep.
All right, Sammy boy, 2.5 laps to go. Whew! You're flying a Lobo solo. No more teammates. It's crunch time. What's going on?
Yeah, so this race has been hard. It's been fast, and as you've seen, I've been fortunate to get to the front and had some great help from my teammates. And there's just not many people left, and you know, we're coming down to the party mode at the end. So I'm doing my best just to do well for my teammates and stay really smooth. But I wanted to be in a good position, not too far to the front, and you know, hopefully far enough back as I move through. And I'm very confident in my bike handling and knowing that these corners were going to get extra exciting. I wanted to be about where I am, about, you know, 8th, 10th wheel, and then get ready to uncork a sprint here and go for it.
Dude, I'm so jealous that you were up here and I wasn't. I wanted to be up here. I wanted to play with you so bad, but I didn't get invited to the party.
Yeah.
Left behind.
Lost in the mail.
So yeah, there's a Legion rider, by the way. If we forgot to mention, Legion had one rider because they're a UCI team. They're not allowed to the elite event,
yep.
Only the pro event. But yeah, this is certainly crunch time, and I do like your position here. There's going to be a little bit of jostling here because everybody wants the tail end of that best buddies train. They are still intact, and they had such a good race. I mean, they kept it fast the whole day, and they still had the firepower to execute a pretty banging lead.
Oh boy!
Didn't that happen? Yeah. I knew that was coming.
Ooh.
But it still catches me by surprise. So you almost went down because that guy really pinched you into that barrier almost.
Yeah, if you watch him, he's definitely shaking his hands out. He's getting cross-eyed. You're going to see an extra exciting moment here in another lap with that particular rider. But yeah, this is what happens at the front, especially when you're getting to the end of the race. Like, you got to be vigilant, got to be paying attention. You see, I'm coming inside of this gentleman here into the last corner, and so we're coming down to one lap, and it gets real. That was a full-on rear tire slide, and I kind of clunked the barrier with my rear wheel, And unfortunately, that cost me a spot and a match or two when there wasn't many matches left in the book. So one to go right here.
Yeah, and this is totally in front of you. He filled that spot. Definitely every position matters at this point in the race. So I saw you fought for another wheel back there in that last corner. And you're right there. I mean, like, you know, the best buddy sprinter is only a couple of wheels in front of you. You can see all of the hitters are in this race. All of the guys, by the way, who were up in that good position throughout the whole race, saving energy, are the same riders now who are contesting the finish. And now we're 800 meters to go. Like, you really got to start thinking about, you know, can I get on to the best buddies sprinter's wheel? And are you thinking about moving up through here? Are you trying to figure out ways to do it? I mean, you're doing like 900 watts, so.
Yeah, honestly, Jeff, like I'm just completely cross-eyed at this moment. That move that almost put me in the barriers really kind of burned a match. And I'm recognizing that I'm about ninth wheel. I'm too far back, and that really was a match that I needed.
Yeah.
And at this point, like, I'm coasting when I need to be moving up inside of this guy. I don't trust him, and here's why. Boom.
Yard sale.
Yeah, like there just was carnage. So while I needed to be like 2 or 3 wheels up, and have not having burned that match. And the race really just got away from me. But, you know, I was proud of our team where we were able to put me. And I think I was 8th place at my first, like, huge nationals. So, you know, would I have liked to have won? Sure. But I was proud of what we did together. And the fact that I kept it upright in a couple of key moments was important.
Top 10 at Elite Nationals is fantastic. It was a great result. And if you look at the footage that I took from the sideline, I mean, the race had blown to pieces. Like, you were in this front group of like 10 riders or something, and there were gaps back to riders in 1s and 2s, all the way back to people that were just being pulled because they were lapped. So the race went from this, I don't know how many we started with,
almost 80, and
down to basically 10 riders.
Yeah.
So it was cool to have you represent Mike's Bikes in that top 10, the selection of the selection. So congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for having me, man. This is dream come true. So cool.
Yes. If you guys want more Sam, be sure to subscribe and let us know in the comments if you guys want to see more of us. So catch you in the next one.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for all the information, man.
Thank you guys for being fans.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
I watch all your videos. So.
This one had to get dropped.